Hello everybody and welcome to another Board Game Nerds video. My name is Ayub and today I'm outside in the cold, in the snow, but for a very specific reason. The Star Cafe. This is just one of their many spots and we've been so lucky that the owner, Bo, has agreed to talk with us. It's a huge board game cafe and let's have a look. Perfect. Bo, thank you for saying yes to this. I've been really excited. You've also been a big part of my board game life. Me going to Star Cafe in my early years and trying out a lot of new games. And yeah, I just recently saw a video from 2014 where you were. It's 12 years ago where
Yeah.
you were opening up Star Cafe for the first time, and they filmed a little bit in your house where you were taking games out of the basement and stuff like that. Where I think it was your house at least.
I do not even remember that,
And
but it was definitely
yeah,
that time.
and now this is huge. So
Yeah.
what can you tell a bit about what happened from you having some games you want to open, and now there's like almost 7,000 games in Bastard?
Well, lots of things changed. Some things are the same. I actually think some of these shelves are some of my old shelves,
Oh,
and some of these games are. This is broken random games. Now, what happened? I don't know. Where do you want to start?
yeah. What is that? You
I remember when you came in the first time. You were just a kid.
yes.
You were in the cafe. We had like, can I have a soda? Yeah, here
Exactly.
you go. And what is this Uno game? And now we're here. No,
Now we
no.
yeah. I mean, so you opened the cafe, and it was obviously a lot smaller back then.
Yeah, I can try to get a little bit into the origin story without
be
getting
cool.
it too long. So I've been playing board games and role playing games all my life. I think I've always been like a geek, a nerd, or something, or in modern terms, we probably call a hobby gamer.
Yeah.
At least someone who seeks out everything that has to do with dragons, science fiction, world is ending, roll some dice, cards, stuff like that. And also it was a good way for me. And I'm 47 now, and in the 80s and 90s, I mean, the friends I hang out with, they were the geeks. They were literally like, we gave up on the girls and just like, but then Magic came and Magic cards, and
Yeah.
that was, which will not get you girls, at least not in the 90s, I can
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, it might have changed now.
Yeah, there are luckily more Magic players than girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, by the way, back then it was mostly boys. I remember I also went to a lot of role-playing conventions. There was not really board game conventions that I knew of in Denmark back then, but there were things like Festival, which I've also been a huge part of for many years and still am. Now I'm mostly just helping around on not a very huge level, but I have been part of the main organizing group for some years. That's the 1,000 nerds that meet up every Easter.
Yeah.
Stunts it used to be in Aarhus, now in Hobro. And play role plays and also board games. But anyway, the first one of those, they were like, this also ties into the story. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah.
The first one of those, there were like 600 boys and 3 girls.
Yeah.
And everybody knew who the girls were. They were like Mette Finderup, who's like, by the way, also an author now, and a Ratzer and a Westling, and that was it.
Yeah.
And then there was just a lot of boys because of course this wasn't really seen as well, we didn't think about it. We would like girls, but I mean, it was a common knowledge that girls didn't like strategic plays and blah, blah, and all that kind of, bullshit.
Yeah.
It was probably maybe because when you come in as a girl and there's like 600 dudes, then you're suddenly like the girl trying to play Magic cards. Anyway, that is changing. But the thing is, that is a little bit to see how it, and back then, hobby gaming and geek culture was perceived, well, very geek. And then Lord of the Rings came out. I think that changed a lot for the mainstreaming everything. Suddenly it could be cool to run. And back then when I said I played roleplay, people said, is that something to do with like you're moving around small figures and stuff? Like, no, it wasn't. Because we were like tabletop roleplaying, so we didn't actually play with figures. We just told stories. But then Lord of the Rings came, and then I also helped a lot with some junior live role playing. But that everybody thought that gaming was about running around in a forest and beating up people with a sword.
Yeah.
It's like, no, it's not that. It's also that, but it's also more. Anyway.
Yeah.
But that opened up the hobby for a lot more people, but not really board gaming as such. The board gaming shops were still very much something in a basement, or you had to go. When I moved to Copenhagen 23 years ago, something. I went to Fantastic, of course, and it was super nice. But I mean, the guy there was a nice guy, Tommy, but he was also very. You had to like know the stuff, or you had to. He was not like, "Hey, welcome, can I help you?" He was more like, "These are good games and these are crap games. Don't play those."
And Fantastic still exists today, so I didn't know it was that old.
They don't have a lot of board games. They have some, but they're really the oldest. The oldest comic store in Denmark, but maybe also one of in the world ish. They're trying to claim that, but I know Marit down there. They're very nice.
Yeah.
And now also you see the gaming cafe, the game shops like Faro Cigars, which is huge, and Morten Greis, who works there, has opened it a lot so normal people can also seek out these things, and you can get the games in Bo ID and all this, Anyway, I was also in the middle of this, and I was originally, I'm an educated actor from Aarhus, from a small Russian actor school.
Okay, cool.
And then I moved to, it was mostly because I was looking for an apartment, and then there was like this Russian school that was seeking acting, and then I thought, maybe I can score girls this way, because I mean, I was 19 and I was a nerd, and I didn't play a guitar, so I had to figure out what else to do. What could I provide? And then I kind of liked acting. But then I was there for 3 years, this method acting stuff. And then I moved to Copenhagen to make it big time. And after being unemployed actor for 3 years in Copenhagen, maybe not making it big time, but actually being a caretaker in the night, which was a very super nice job actually, to go around helping people, which I did not know when I was younger that I would like that so much, but I did. Then I thought, I'm not an actor. I'm not a star. It's not. I'm not an actor. I'm a caretaker. Yeah. And I had some friends who said like, "Oh, we're actors. Yeah, we also actors. We also work full time as a pedagogue. There's nothing wrong with being a pedagogue, but you're not an actor, are you?" So I thought, this is crap. Also, as an actor, I wasn't a really good actor, probably. I'm good with my imagination, but I wasn't really good at. And there was so much competition, and you were relying on many other people. Yeah. But I clearly saw. And this is where I clearly saw that the theaters were really crap at marketing themselves. So they were really bad at attracting new people to theaters. It's like, if you had to go to the theater, you had to know what the theater could provide. So that means you had to have parents that took you to the theater and all that jazz. And every time I took someone to the theater, they were like, "Oh, this is great, I didn't know this." And then they didn't go again. So because the theaters market themselves only to the people that know that theater is good, then they only market themselves to a small percentage. Then I thought, I can do something here. And so I went in. So I started at Roskilde University with cultural marketing. I studied business cultures and performance design, because I wanted to learn all this business stuff. I had some creative background, and then I thought, if I can be the middleman and know both languages. And help theaters market themselves to a wider audience, then that will surely be something. Yeah. And I was also motivated by it. At the same time, I moved to Øresundskollegiet, which is a huge collegium in Amager, and together with my wife. Back then we weren't married, but we've been married for quite a few years. And there's also a lot of udvalg, like committees, climbing committee, the sports committee, and also the game committee. And they were playing games every Thursday. They had a Thursday cafe called the Spilcafeen, the game cafe. Yeah. And so we went down there in a very well-lit aula and played games. I went in there, and there was a guy behind the counter. That was, funnily enough, Morten Greis, who's now the head in Faro Cigar in the board game area. And he said, you can be a volunteer here. And then we just drink beers and play games, and that's every Thursday. So I did that for quite a while. And I was like the communication guy because I thought that was what I was studying. So I was trying to make people come into the cafe because it was always the same people. And at the same time, I was also the one dragging you. I know you probably have this role maybe in your own, but like the guy who's always dragging along games to parties and say, hey, by the way, what about this? And first people like, we can't. And then I said, no, it's very easy.
Yeah.
So I was trying to, and with marketing, what you do is you change the perception, you change the framework. So you have the product game, the game experience is more or less set out for you. The game is made, but you can change everything else. So we work with the frame, to me and the others at this Spilcafeen. So we changed the name to Thursday Night Cafe because I thought that the word Spilcafeen was actually pushing away people that were not gamers because they would say, this is not for me.
Yeah, which also translates to play cafe or game cafe, right?
Game cafe. So this is not for me. I'm not going to seek this out. I might embarrass myself or something. So we changed it to Thursday Night Cafe, now still with games, because every student knows what Thursday Night Cafe is about. That's about getting a little bit tipsy and hungover, and maybe you have to go to class next day a little bit later.
Little Friday.
Yeah. And then we dimmed the lights and put on some music, and we found some couches. We bought some really cheap couches, used ones, and I took down the espresso machine I had got from my marriage. And then in a couple of weeks, we quadrupled the amount of people there. And there were also girls playing Risk. I remember the first time I saw 4 girls without a dude playing Risk. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Now we're on something.
Something is right.
And they seem to, one, know the rules, 2, enjoy it. Yeah. So, but no. So obviously that was something that attracted. And the thing there was, we started there. So we had the games. Of course, there were lots of games. I think there was 100 games, 200 games. We had quite a lot. The Collegium had some budget we could use. But people came in and then they had a drink and then they played backgammon or something. And then at some point they're like, what is this game? And they was like, oh yeah, this is Carcassonne. And then we taught them Carcassonne or Ticket to Ride. And then of course a lot of them found great joy in it. So it's all about meeting people where they are and not shaming them for playing Uno or Monopoly. This is an idea, it's still very alive in our cafes now. So when you come in, the first rule of the game gurus we have is like, don't shame anyone if they ask for Monopoly or Ludo or anything, us gamers, we hate these games, like, such a drab. But a lot of people play them.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I had to move from the Collegium, and I moved to Andesbolig together with my wife, but I still wanted to drink beer and play games Thursdays. I thought that was a good idea to do.
Yeah.
Now it sounds like I drink a lot of beer, but I mean, I was also
play a lot of games.
It's like always been a part. A drink. That's also the thing for me. Having a drink could also be a soda, coffee, and playing something is like connected.
Yeah.
But never to a point where you get immensely drunk, because then you can't play the game.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it's a very nice way of meeting and talking. But that, of course, I have a bar.
Yeah.
That's a board game bar, so it will fix it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we moved to a flat, and then luckily I have a very understanding wife. So I said, darling, I would like to open our flat every Thursday to play games. Also maybe for random people, because at the same time I started working at Roskilde Festival. I haven't done anything with theater, but I somehow ended up at Roskilde Festival in the marketing department there. And I was like, it was 2008, and I was this intern. So it's like, oh, Facebook came out, and they're like, intern, can you do something with Facebook? We don't know what it is. Try to play around with it. Which also landed me my job there because Facebook exploded.
Yeah.
And suddenly I was like the me guy there. But so I made a Facebook group about the cafe, and I had made like a mantra, like, here we play all games, nobody's shamed. Everyone is welcome. That was more like, from the beginning, it was like, everyone is welcome. And it wasn't the original cafe in the Collegium, so it was like I thought bastard child, so it was like a bastard cafe. That was where the name came from.
Ah, okay.
And this was in 2008. So the bastard cafe actually started in 2008 in our flat.
Okay.
And then it went on like that for 5 years. I had a good job, and also, what I did not really fully realize is that when I called it Bastard Cafe and made a Facebook group for it, most people, for obvious reasons, would perceive that this was a cafe.
Yeah, I wonder why.
So when they came to flat, but we did have beers in the fridge, and we sold 1 for 10, 2 for 15, and if there any profit, we used to buy more games.
Nice, yeah.
Because I mean, I don't want to profit on my friends, so that expanded. So we had suddenly a lot of people coming. Like after 5 years, this continued until 2013, and I think at the last there was 40 people in my flat. So
that sounds crazy.
We have a 70 square meter flat, so it was a little bit pressured. Like we used somebody sat on the bed. Usually we had an extra table next to the bed, and then in the living room there was like 3 tables. This was, by the way, where we very quickly established the thing that still hinders a lot of gamers. Like what do we play if we're 6 people? And we're like, just 2 tables. Split up. Do not try. Why should you always play 7 Wonders? Don't try always to play 7 Wonders. Just make 2 tables. And people say, no, it's not. It will work. Don't worry. I mean, otherwise you're never gonna. All the Euro games that come out are 4 players. So if you want to play those, you either have to say no, Ayub, you can't come today. So what? No, it's not happening. Don't worry. This game, no, it's not for you. You can come another day.
I think even for me today, when we are a lot of people, it's hard for me to say, should we split up? I wouldn't mind it, but I'm afraid that some might be like, oh, but why don't you, the thing you mentioned. So it's a very common...
We had a very forceful, like, this was the thing we did. And if somebody complained, it was like, that's too bad. Because we also want to play the games that have 4. And we also want to invite everybody. And it's kind of weird. It's like, no, you can't come.
And it worked for a long time, apparently.
It worked for a long time, but then I was very happy for my job at Roskilde Festival. But I was also like in a bit of a rut where I was being the webmaster dude, and there were we had some web development. We spent 1.5 years making a new web page and making the Roskilde Festival experience. I worked in Roskilde. I worked with the camping area. I wrote a thesis about something called Camp of the Year. And I was a big part of making what is now called, and still exists, called Dream City. It's like where camps come in and engage themselves in the festival. So it was super engaging job as well. But I was also like, see that what my day-to-day job would be writing newsletters a lot. I was like, I don't want to write newsletters. And the whole thing we've been working on for 1.5 years with the webpage and all the guests having a digital identity and buying and selling. That's the part of that's what I call the evil marketing side. It's like, how do you not only engage people, but also make sure they stay engaged, spend stuff, show up, blah, blah, blah. There's a little bit of manipulation in all kind of marketing. But I mean, as long as you do it for the good, I mean, then it's not evil, is it?
Oh, maybe people will use their money somewhere. So
what can I do? But that was scrapped. So I was like, oh, this is a waste of time. And then I got really drunk at a wedding, and I quit my job in the middle of the night. And said, I'm quitting my job. And I woke up the next day and had the worst hangover of my life, and also an insane anxiety because I had no idea what I've just done or how I should move from there. Because even though I would say Denmark is a very, very, actually I found out now, a very easy and very open and welcoming country to make businesses and start businesses. You actually get a lot of help and input. It's just, we are not taught, I think, at least not the people I know, how to make a business. We are taught to like have a job. So I know a lot about have a job, find a job. I knew nothing about business. But well, it had to start somewhere. And luckily I had some friends, and a lot of the geeks are into IT. And a lot of IT people, they have their own businesses somehow. So they were like, oh, do this and this and this. And one of my good friends, he was helping. We had 2 that was helping me a lot in the beginning. But especially one called Ulrich. He said, like, what you have to do, stop writing business plans and stuff. Just what can you do now? What can you do tomorrow? Can you start selling beer in your basement? Can you do it? So he was like pushing this. Because I was also from the universe, like, I have to make a plan, and then I have to roll out the plan and the budgets. Like, no, fuck that. Just start doing something. And then I thought, okay, I can do marketing. So the first thing I did was I again made a Facebook group, a page and called it Bastard Cafe and said, okay, we're gonna try to make some pop-up cafes to gather interests, pop-up events. And immediately I wrote this. The geek community, as I said, I did cheat a bit because I had not only was there a huge community of people around the cafe in my flat. They all called them the Bastard Cafe, so they very quickly called themselves the Bastards. We are the Bastards. And they were like, hey, we want to help. I also knew a lot of people from the role-playing community, also adults that had a lot of experience in these things and contacts to culture houses and libraries and stuff. And they said like, hey, so I made this group. There was a lot of interest, and we got into contact with Huset because they had a cafe scene area that they weren't using all the time. And I was like, yeah, you can use this for some pop-ups. And that is what is now the downstairs part of Huset, actually. That was called Analog Bar back then.
Okay.
And it was like an open bar space. And so after a month, we had 3 in a row, 3 Saturdays in a row. We pulled all the games we had in the van. At that point, I think we had around... Hello. It's just someone came in. I think we had around 400 games or something. So we had quite a lot of games. Put them in the van, drove out, set up shop, made coffee, sold beer. Huset, we bought the beer from Huset, so they earned a bit of money there. And then put all the money in a cigar box to figure out what we should do with them. It actually took us a year before we had a CVR number, which I cannot recommend, but I was everything was moving so fast. Yeah. No, so I was personally taxed by all income, which was like, sense, and before we had expenses paid, so that was not making it.
Yeah.
But so we did these kind of pop-up events for over a year because we still couldn't, and I was still trying to make a business plan to make, because I had the idea that I needed to borrow some money to actually make a business, because you probably need money, which you normally do. But banks are idiots, so they're not going to give you money unless you pay a high interest and all that. So I was like, But luckily, after a year and doing all of this and running a bit low on steam, it was in the summer of 2014. That was probably where you saw some of the videos, but we were able to borrow the Huset bar we are in now, what is actually the Bastard Cafe, the original is now, which was a place we did not anticipate to make the cafe, because we were planning on living on selling, of course, making game experiences, but how should we pay the bills? By selling takeaway coffee. And Huset is not very good for that, because you have to go in and through a yard and find it and all that. But so this summer we opened for 3 weeks every day. We made like a summer getaway, because Huset was closed otherwise and they didn't need it. And again, so we paid rent in a way by buying beer and sodas from them, and paid a little bit on top of that. And then, to try to see how it was to have an open cafe. And we made like a getaway if you were caught in the city, and we had some like surfer 50s vibes, and Elvis Presley and Caipirinhas and stuff like that. It still exists, by the way, in this random playlist somewhere.
Okay.
Like Hawaiian and surfer music playlists. And that was a huge success. I forgot completely that I also had to man and we didn't have any staff. So I just worked there. I think I worked 380 hours or something.
Oh, okay,
Or a lot, I can't remember.
Yeah.
It was like every day from 10, 11 to close at 12 to 2.
Yeah.
And took off at my wedding day, because otherwise I think I would have been divorced.
Yeah.
I was quite taxing on my marriage. But so we saw we actually could draw a lot of guests. And Huset also saw, because they have like a counter when you go in, that we accumulated a lot of guests as well. And they are very interested. So they have more responsibilities to the city than just making money. They're actually not focused on making money. It should be fair and that should make ends meet. But they're focused on being some kind of cultural thing for citizens.
Yeah.
So activating as most people as possible in Copenhagen. And we had definitely done that.
Yeah.
And we can also see, like, for culture houses, we have, I think we have 5 double the amount of people that are in Huset.
Yeah.
And it's in if you see the amount of people in culture houses, Copenhagen is like duk, 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 and then poof, poof.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the place is quite huge. It's not just a small cafe. Obviously, also a reason why you can have so many games there. And I think every Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, if you want to go there, you need to book a table. Of course, you can still go and be lucky, but I went many times where I was like, okay, I need to actually stand an hour if I don't book a little table ahead. It's of course a little bit different in the weekdays, and now you have 3 cafes in total. So that was very cool to hear how that all began. I wanna catch on a little bit to what you said, because I found it very interesting. You know, people don't need to play specific games. Or I think for a lot of heavy board gamers, it's been a thing in the mind that, you know, oh no, but this is a bad game and you need to learn this and that. So I'm imagining it's also a huge part of how you manage to keep so many people in. And I'm also guessing what you were hinting a bit towards, that afterwards they open their eyes for other games. So sometimes they might stay there, and
sometimes they do.
Yeah, and I just found that very delightful. You know, like my shoulders get down. Of course, people can play whatever they want to play. Yeah. Why should I care so much? And if they're having a good time, isn't that what games are supposed to do for us at the end of the day? So that's very cool that Bastar is not just a cafe for heavy nerds and board gamers, which it also is, but also just for people that want to come in and have a beer and play around or something.
It is actually our main audience.
Yeah.
So it is. The funny thing is that the reason, there are some reasons why that it's like wine, or being, if it's like, sometimes if you go all academic, you'll probably, it's like, I know Pierre Bourdieu, yes, like you have this, talks about social capital. And if you have a social capital that is, I am the board gamer, if suddenly everybody's playing board games, then that is not special anymore. So it loses value.
Yeah.
I know, that's a little bit very academic, but I also see a lot of, with board gaming, for example, are usually clustered in clubs or smaller groups, because you literally do not need more than 4 people to play a game. But if you have a live role-playing game, you need a lot of people. So the live role-playing community is also way more come in, because you need a lot. While board gaming communities have a tendency to very quickly cluster. And we also see this, and we also make events at the cafe. So for example, we try to be as open to as many as possible. So both like some random geek moving to the city, and they want to hang out and play games, like heavy games also, and find new ones. And that's why we have this game guru. It's actually not, the Americans don't get it. They're like, how can you make people, because we have a game guru community. A lot of people, they come, they have a badge, and then they help guests play games, and they also themselves, it's unpaid, it's volunteer. And the Americans are like, how can you make people work for free? It's like, but they're not working. It's not like work for me or for us. Yes, we share the same idea, but a lot of it is also just, they can come in and meet other gamers, and we have a whole culture about that. But also, sometimes we want to meet like someone who doesn't know anyone. So we have events like here actually happening now. There was the guy just coming in. They were having Thursday matchup, where you can come and not know anyone, and then somebody will be setting you up with other things. Because when you play games, you mostly need someone else, unless you're playing solo games. And who's playing solo games?
I don't know.
Well, some people know. I will not say.
And mostly they do it at home then.
Yes,
probably. I'm guessing.
You sit out with the So you also have to be welcoming for that, but also groups, and most of our guests come in 2 and 2. They might, and that's the thing. Instead of seeing them as gamers, I see them as people on a date. So they will need something to do to make this conversation less awkward, for example. Or a grandmother and her son, or parents, or a group of students hanging out with us. One who just wants to show everybody else this new game. It's called Secret Hitler. They should all try it. Which they, by the way, do. It's played insanely a lot. So we physically also scraped all our communication from the word geek or nerd, not because it's not cool, because it is way cooler to be geek or nerd than in the 90s. At least I claim so. But it is also, again, excluding, because it means you can only join this if you know so much, if you know all the moves in Terraforming Mars, and if you even know what Terraforming Mars is. If not, then you should start there before you even get in the door. So we communicate to normal people and then hope that some of them will convert, or maybe not. We have a 3-pronged mission. The first mission is to get as many people playing as many games as possible. The focus here is on quantity.
Yeah.
So we do not care what they play. As long as they play games, there is gonna be some positive fallout in the social dynamic in many things. Number 2 is what I call the familia. It's like to have a community both with staff and guests where we have a open, welcoming, and we take care of each other. And number 3 is to make money. So number 1 and 2 can exist.
Yeah, of course.
Because we are 100% only funded by nachos, cafe latte, and beer.
And that's also what I'm guessing. Whatever the bar sells is actually what you earn the most from, because
it's the only thing. The gaming part. The thing is, we have it's a little bit weird. Huset is also a unicorn. In contrast to most other game cafes in the world that charge either per person or per table, we have a lot of free-to-play games.
Yes.
And they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Mostly gateway games, Ticket to Ride, or Codenames. Games that we know would both be something new players can enjoy, but also something where people like. We didn't want to use, when we started, we were the first board game cafe. At this point, people were like, why should I pay even to play these games?
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, we're having a lot of free games, and then we have something you can pay for. But now we are actually working more on the payment part, but we still have the free to play games.
Yeah.
But it's to get people in the door. But it's only like, I think it's 10% or something. It's very little. What we mostly live on is by how other bars and cafes live, by selling stuff.
And I think it's very cool, and it's like, me as a gamer, is so cheap to have a 1-year membership. Is like less than 20 euros for a full year, and you can come and you can bring a friend on your membership, and so
it is. I think we are one of the cheapest cafes in the. I haven't. Well, now I'm not gonna say the world, but I haven't. When I talk to other bars, they're like, "How can you make a membership that's 20 euros?" Like, well, it's because the membership. Again, it's just a marketing trap. I am from marketing. So this is just to get you engaged. So you have a card that's not free. You've paid a little bit for it, and it's a +1. So you can always invite a friend and not be in the weird situation. I have a 6-year-old. I have a zoo card, of course.
Yeah.
And if I had to invite you to the zoo, you have to pay 185 kroner.
Yeah.
But do you want to go to the zoo? Yeah, you have to pay. Or I should pay for you. It's just weird.
Yeah.
So +1 makes sense.
Yeah.
But again, and also has a virus effect. So you're like spreading out. And then more people come in, play more games, eat more nachos, drink more beers.
Yeah.
The nacho and beer part, that's also again counter normal nerd. Later today, I'm going to play games with my friend Joel.
Yeah.
I do not play in my cafe because this is not necessarily made for me.
Yeah.
It's made for other people. So I go to somewhere where I can control the music, drink the wine, also where someone doesn't run in and say, the washing machine is on fire.
Yeah.
Of course. But yes.
Yeah. You talked a little bit about you had the Thursday and Monday matchups where people can come and meet.
Then we have something called Let's Play, where it's like we introduce one game and to everybody who's there.
Yeah. I've seen that. That's also pretty cool. And you even have like a public events where on this day on this date, you can come and learn about this game. Then also know you have a designer focus days where some designers can come and test their games.
This as many things. This came up because somebody wanted to organize it. And at this point, there's a guy called Marek and Bastian. He's also one of the. He's also designed quite a few games for festival.
Yeah.
I was actually also part, together with a guy called Troels Westrup, of starting the whole game design thing at festival, because role players were making a lot of role plays only for festival, and we thought, or Troels thought that one, couldn't we make it for board games as well? Like, so you can make games for festival, design them there instead of focusing on getting them published. It's so we were trying to move the focus from getting it published, which is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And into making the games and making them played. So anyway, it's a little bit the same. So Bastian wanted to make these. I think it's testing Tuesdays.
Testing Tuesdays, yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of you might have known because some of the bigger Danish board game designers, Asger and Daniel and Kasper and all those, they're all part of this. And also somehow started in small, but now
Yeah, and I mean, for me as a non-designer and just a regular person who likes board games, I also went there at some point, got to meet some of them and find out they are just people like us, and I really think, like you said, all these events feels open for everybody. And that's just I want to say a beautiful thing that we don't see that often, maybe in many different fields and stuff like that. So cool. I'm going to ask you some quick questions now that I know some people, and I wrote them down here, will be curious about. And I will ask you to try and answer them as short as possible. And some of them won't be.
That's apparently hard for me.
Some of them it won't be possible, but
you can just say like
No, I will say 5, 4. No. What game seems to be played most at the cafe?
At the time?
Yes, or in general, which games have been played the most?
Okay, the games that I talked to Ole about this because I did read this before.
Yeah.
And Ole is he's like the game curator.
Yeah.
And I think we mostly agreed on Guess Who.
Yeah.
Which is people are like, what? What do you mean? And normally I would say Uno, but Uno gets played so much it gets destroyed and lost.
Yeah.
So that gets played less, but only because people can't find it.
And they put it back the wrong place.
Which again because a lot of people think, played the most, isn't it Catan? Yeah, or Ticket to Ride. They also get played a lot.
Yeah.
But normal straight up games, they get played immensely. I mean, Guess Who is a very good game if you just want to sit and have coffee and have something to do.
Yeah. And I also been seeing that actually a lot at the cafe, parents playing it with their kids or a couple or whatever. So a lot of
or good for dates.
Good for dates.
Ludo.
Yeah.
Probably one of the let's face it, one of the worst games in the universe.
It is one of my 5 worst games of all time.
Which by the way, I personally play every Christmas Eve. We end the evening while playing like Tryk Ludo. It's a Ludo with a dice-o-matic, one of these, and in the family, and we yell and we cheat and we throw the things, and it's hilarious. And this is the thing. I mean, even the worst game can give you a very good experience if you're just into it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Ludo is a very good dating game. So we spent years trying to find the perfect games for dates.
Yeah.
And we found out that people went on a date. They don't want to learn a new game. They really do not.
Yeah.
So you just want to have the game that is least in the way of the actual thing that's happening.
Nice.
So that would be dating game.
Cool. Well, I'll move on with the next question.
Yeah.
A bit more personal on you. What is your favorite board game of all time and why?
The political answer and correct would probably be the games I haven't tried yet.
Yeah.
Because I want to try new games all the time. And I really enjoy exploring that, even bad games or games I don't necessarily like. But I would say I really enjoy, and I have 2 copies of Talisman 2nd edition from 89 with all the expansions. Because that's by the way it looks a little bit like you just roll a die and then you move and stuff happens and after 2 hours you might just die because you pulled the wrong card. But it is always giving a lot of pleasurable moments. Cool. Together with the right group. It's not a gamer's game.
Yeah. Yeah, actually one of our co-hosts has a Relic, which is a reskin of Thailand. Yeah. And it's the same situation for him, depending on the group. So he will be happy to hear that you said that.
But I also would say I played a lot of Agricola.
Yeah.
Agricola really opened my eyes and was like, whoa, that was where like, okay, Euro games. That was really like when I fell into love with that.
And strategic games. I think actually that was the game that made me really meet you, because we were playing it at Spilcafeen. It was the first time I ever played a game that was this huge.
Yeah.
And if I remember right, now this is 10 years ago, even more, I think. 10 years. And you had this version in the cafe where you made some.
Oh yeah, I made all. Yeah, because the first Agricola, all the sheep were just like small cubes.
Yeah.
So I made all the sheep and everything in Fimo clay.
Yeah, and then we play with it, and somebody was like, yeah, the owner, he made all this. Is like, what? And then yeah, of course we asked you about it back then. So pretty cool.
Oh, that's fun. Nice to hear that you got something out of it.
Yeah.
I actually found it a half a year ago. It still exists. Yeah. Nobody stole it, which is like, hey, nice.
Yeah, don't do it.
Don't steal games.
Yes, come and play them. You can play them technically for free almost. Is Spilcafeen your full-time job now?
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah.
Well, it has been ever since I quit my other job.
Yeah. And what's the longest game you have ever been in a single session? So not like a campaign where you stop and like where this game took this many hours.
Around 24 hours.
24 hours.
But there was some people, we had to sleep at some point.
Yes.
But it took 24 hours, so plus 6 hours of sleep. But I know I think some might know this Advanced Civilization.
Okay.
With the Western expansion, and we were like 7 people, and it took ages. It was super fantastic.
Yeah.
But there's lots of negotiation going. That's also a really, really good game that takes ages.
Yeah. Do you think you would play that again one day, or is this now a thing of the past?
I played it 2 years ago in a summer house with we like 9 nerds that somehow all have kids, but somehow sometimes manage to meet up. And we actually stopped. Yeah. Because there was one guy who didn't realize when we say, Simon, this will take all day. Are you sure you don't want to? No, I just have to finish these mails. And then he came out in the evening saying, okay, I'm ready. And I was like, no, but we are not done yet. We have 12 hours of gaming left. Yeah. And he's like, what? Yeah.
Cool. Nice. And I think I had one last final question, which will be, where was it? Yeah, you already actually kind of touched a bit on about it. You told our viewers how what is a game guru basically, and you kind of have this codex, don't shame, and help people with the games they want to play. And if somebody out there thought, you know what, I want to be a part of this amazing community, what does it take to be a game guru? And yeah.
Well, practically you just go on our webpage and there's like a page somewhere that says, hey, do you want to be a guru? Read this. And then we have like a codex that says what it's about. And then you write a mail to a guru at Bastard Cafe, and then Ole or Tue sees it, and then you have like a trial shift. But what it requires is like this. You don't necessarily, you can be very introvert. It doesn't, and you don't have to know all the games in the universe. That's again a marketing trick. Some people are like, but we have to know all the games. No, you don't. You know the games you present. And that's why people that come and ask you things, they actually will have a perception that you would know all the games.
Yeah, I kind of have a perception. Most gurus know a lot of games.
They do not. We have now just crossed 7,000 games, which is also a ridiculous amount.
It is.
Yeah, and if you want to open a board game cafe, you do not need 7,000 games. You need, by the way, between 600 and 800. Yeah. That's it. And we have proof of that. Yeah. But 7,000 is just too much. But yeah, so you have to be open to. You don't have to know all the games. You can also be slightly introvert, but random people will talk to you. But I mean, it does help that you have the guru. It's a job, right? It's a mask you can play.
Yeah. Cool. Bo, I think I want to let you be free now. I'm so happy you wanted to answer all these questions. Tell us about the cafe. Tell us about you and how all of that started. If anybody have questions, they can, of course, write something in the comment. And if it's specific for Bo, I will call him up and say, Bo, a lot of people want to know, do you have a cat? And then I can say he said no, or he said
I do not have a cat.
He does not have a cat.
I have a 6-year-old. It's like nearly the same, just way more noisy.
Yeah, I need more managing.
All the dirty kids.
And so this was a Board Game Nerds video. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Blue Sky, and Instagram. Check out all the stuff. And you can find the 3 Bastard cafes at Valby, Nørrebro, and Indreby, which is in the center of the city, which was the original one. And go there and try some games. Thank you very much.